They've been blamed for everything from secretly running governments to hiding mysterious treasures. Freemasons, members of the world's most famous secretive fraternity, often attract wild conspiracy theories. But the real story of Freemasonry is just as fascinating as the myths, minus the tinfoil hat. In today's video, we're counting down 10 things you probably didn't know about the Freemasons. From their medieval origins to a US political party founded to oppose them, and even the Masonic roots of a common phrase in our language, we've got some surprising facts coming up. So, let's uncover the real truths behind this centuries-old brotherhood. Number 1. Freemasons are the world's oldest fraternal organization. Freemasonry isn't a product of modern times or even the Enlightenment. It dates back hundreds of years. In fact, Masons belong to the oldest continuously operating fraternal order in the world. The society began in the Middle Ages as a guild of stonemasons who built Europe's great cathedrals. As the cathedral building boom faded, the organization transformed. No longer just for working stonemasons, it evolved into a social club and philosophical fraternity. Today, Freemasonry is a social and philanthropic organization dedicated to making good men better and helping the community. Its culture was shaped by Enlightenment ideals, promoting religious tolerance, knowledge, moral living, and brotherhood. And yes, Freemasons really do live up to their charitable reputation. In modern times, they're known for donating millions of dollars to charity every year. Not bad for a secret society that started with stonecutters in the Middle Ages. Number 2. Masonic symbols have secret meanings and some myths to dispel. Freemasons are famous for their symbols. Think of the square and compass logo or the mysterious all-seeing eye. These symbols aren't just for show, they carry lessons and values for those in the know. The square and compass, often shown with the letter G in the middle, is the most recognizable emblem. The square represents virtue and honesty, and the compass represents self-control. But what about that G? Even Masons debate this one. Some say it stands for God, referring to the great architect of the universe, while others say it stands for geometry, a nod to the medieval builder's craft. The all-seeing eye, or Eye of Providence, is another symbol used by Masons to represent the watchful eye of God. And here's a lesser-known symbol, the beehive. In Masonry, a beehive reminds members to be as busy as bees, working together for the good of the lodge. Now, let's bust a popular myth. You might have heard that the Freemasons stuck their symbols on the US $1 bill, especially that all-seeing eye above the pyramid. In reality, the eye on the Great Seal and dollar bill wasn't a Masonic scheme at all. The Great Seal's Eye of Providence was proposed by an artist who wasn't even a Mason. And while Benjamin Franklin, a known Mason, served on the Seal Committee, his design didn't include the eye and wasn't adopted. So, while Masonic symbols are everywhere within lodges, not every pyramid and eye you see is a secret Masonic sign. Number 3. Yes, they have secret handshakes, and passwords too. It's not just a cliche from movies. Freemasons really do have secret handshakes. In fact, there isn't just one handshake, but many. Masonic tradition has a unique handshake, or grip, for each degree of membership. As a newcomer progresses, from the first degree, entered apprentice, to second, fellow craft, to third, master mason, he learns a new handshake along the way. Members use these grips along with special passwords during lodge ceremonies to identify each other's rank. The custom harks back to the old guild days, when stonemasons might travel and use secret signs to prove their skills and membership in the craft. Modern Masonic handshakes are more symbolic than practical, but they definitely exist, part of the fraternity's mystique of private ritual. So the next time you hear about a politician's weird handshake, it might just be Masonic. And about those secret rituals, yes, Freemasons have those as well, though they are not the sinister plots pop culture might imagine. The initiation ceremonies and lessons are private, but they focus on moral allegories and self-improvement. As Masonic historians like to say, Freemasonry isn't truly a secret society so much as a society with secrets, handshakes included. Number 4. It's not a religion, but you must believe in a higher power. One of the biggest misconceptions is that Freemasonry is some kind of separate religion or cult. In truth, Freemasonry is not a religion at all. It has no dogma, and it doesn't offer salvation or sacraments. However, it does have one religious requirement: belief in a supreme being. To become a Mason, a candidate has to profess faith in God or a higher power. Masons often use the term the grand architect of the universe for this supreme being. All religions are welcome. You can be Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, etc., but atheists historically have been barred from joining. This rule dates back to the very beginnings of Freemasonry. Since the fraternity teaches moral lessons that assume a divine creator, they've long felt that only believers in God can take Masonic oaths in good conscience. That said, Freemasonry itself stays neutral on which God or which holy book its members follow. Inside a lodge, you might see the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, or other scriptures displayed. It depends on the faiths of the brothers present. The bottom line, Freemasonry isn't trying to start a new religion. It's more like a spiritual brotherhood, open to men of many faiths, united by core values, and a trust in a higher power. Number 5, the Catholic Church has banned Catholics from becoming Freemasons. On the other hand, some established religions have seen Freemasonry as a threat. Notably, the Catholic Church has opposed Freemasonry for nearly 300 years. As far back as 1738, the Vatican formally condemned the Masonic order and forbid Catholics from joining. The reasons were partly religious, where the Church feared Masonic rituals might undermine or replace Christianity, and partly political. 18th century Masons were often progressive thinkers, which made the Church hierarchy nervous. Over the centuries, the Vatican has reaffirmed this ban many times. In 1983, it went so far as to declare that any Catholic who becomes a Mason is in a state of grave sin and cannot receive Holy Communion. That's a pretty serious stance. Church officials have described Freemasonry as incompatible with Catholic doctrine and criticized the secret oaths Masons take. It's worth noting that other faith groups have had varied reactions. Some Protestant denominations in the past were wary of Masonry too, while others had clergy who were Masons. But the Catholic Church's anti-Mason position stands out for its longevity and strictness. And despite the ban, there have indeed been Catholics who joined Masonic lodges over the years, sometimes quietly. The tension between Rome and the square and compass is a reminder that Freemasonry's mix of secrecy, spiritual elements, and influence didn't sit well with everyone in authority. Number 6. A mysterious disappearance led to America's first third political party. Believe it or not, the Freemasons once sparked such public fear that an entire political party was formed to oppose them. The drama began with a high-profile disappearance in 1826. A New York man named William Morgan had threatened to publish a tell-all book exposing Masonic secrets. But before it came out, Morgan suddenly vanished. He was allegedly abducted by enraged Freemasons, and rumors swirled that he was murdered to protect the lodge's secrets. Morgan's body was never found, and the incident ignited a wave of anti-Mason outrage. By 1828, that public backlash coalesced into the Anti-Masonic Party, the first third party in U.S. history. The Anti-Masonic Party's members truly believed Freemasons were an elitist cabal corrupting democracy. They campaigned to expose and outlaw the fraternity, fueling America's first bout of widespread conspiracy-minded politics. Interestingly, this short-lived party ended up innovating some aspects of U.S. politics. It introduced the idea of national nominating conventions and party platforms, practices later adopted by the major parties. At its peak, the anti-Masonic movement even attracted notable politicians, including a young Millard Fillmore, who later became president. However, the party fizzled out by the mid-1830s as the panic subsided and many members moved on to other political groups. Still, it's a startling piece of history, a reminder that the fear of Freemason influence was once powerful enough to reshape American politics. Number 7. It's still mostly a boys' club, but women have their own Masonic groups. Freemasonry has traditionally been an all-male domain. The fraternity's old rules were very explicit about this. The foundational 1723 constitutions of Freemasonry outright banned women from membership, along with atheists and even enslaved people. reflecting the biases of that era. For centuries, if you were female, you simply could not become a Freemason. With that said, women weren't entirely absent from the Masonic world. Over time, parallel organizations for women formed, often with support from male Masons. One of the best known is the Order of the Eastern Star, established in the 19th century, which is open to women and men and is affiliated with Freemasonry. Eastern Star chapters allow wives, daughters, and relatives of Master Masons to participate in charitable and social activities, though it's not Freemasonry in the strict sense. What about women who wanted to be full-fledged Masons? In the last 150 years, all female lodges have indeed been founded. In England, for example, there are 2 grand lodges exclusively for women, dating back to 1908 and 1913. These lodges conduct the same kind of rituals and degree work as the men's lodges, and their members also call each other brothers in Masonic tradition. There are even some mixed-gender lodges and co-Masonic orders in various countries that initiate both men and women. However, here's the catch. The mainstream male-only grand lodges, which are the majority, especially in the US, often do not officially recognize these women's lodges. That means they don't interact or count them as legitimate in the traditional Masonic network. Change has been slow. As of today, Freemasonry proper is still predominantly male, and in some regions they hold firmly to the old exclusion. But many female Freemasons are active in their own parallel organizations. In short, the door is open to crack, but Freemasonry remains, by and large, a boys' club, with a few notable exceptions in history. Fun fact, there are legends of a handful of women who accidentally witnessed Masonic rituals centuries ago and were then initiated in secret. Like Elizabeth St. Leger Aldworth, an Irish woman in the early 18th century who is said to have become a Master Mason after eavesdropping on a lodge meeting. Number 8. Black Freemasons formed their own tradition, dating back to the 1770s. Just as women were excluded, originally Freemasonry was segregated by race, at least in North America. In the 18th century, colonial American lodges did not admit African Americans, who were largely enslaved or discriminated against. But black men found a way to become Masons and build their own brotherhood. The pioneer of black Freemasonry in America was Prince Hall, a free black abolitionist. In 1775, Prince Hall and 14 other black men were initiated into Freemasonry by a lodge of Irish military Masons stationed in Boston after they had been turned away by white local lodges. Because the existing American Grand Lodges refused to grant these black Masons a charter, Prince Hall sought recognition from abroad, and in 1784 the Grand Lodge of England officially chartered African Lodge No. 1 in Boston, with Prince Hall as master. This became the nucleus of what's now known as Prince Hall Freemasonry. Prince Hall Masonry grew into a parallel Masonic tradition for black Americans. Separate African American Grand Lodges spread across states, operating independently because mainstream white Grand Lodges would not recognize or affiliate with them for much of history. These lodges provided leadership opportunities, community, and mutual aid in an era when segregation was the norm. Even after slavery ended, many regular Grand Lodges in the U.S. continued to exclude or ignore black Masons. In fact, well into the 20th century, and astonishingly, even in the 21st, some state Grand Lodges refused to acknowledge Prince Hall lodges as true Masons. This has gradually improved in recent decades, with more integration and cross-recognition, especially in the northern states, but a few divisions lingered in parts of the American South. Despite those barriers, Prince Hall Freemasonry has a proud legacy and remains a vibrant force. It counts prominent members like Thurgood Marshall and Jesse Jackson among its ranks. So, one of the hidden truths of Freemasonry is that it isn't monolithic. Race and history carved out a separate space, which black Masons made their own. Number 9. The phrase giving someone the third degree comes from Freemasonry. We use the expression to give someone the third degree to mean grilling them with tough questions. Ever wonder where that saying came from? Look no further than the Masons. In Masonic lodges, the third degree is the stage when a member earns the title of Master Mason. And traditionally, part of that ceremony involves an intense round of questioning or examination by the senior members. It's like a serious initiation test of the candidate's knowledge, character, and readiness. This rigorous questioning was notable enough that outsiders picked up on it, and the term third degree became synonymous with any kind of hard interrogation. According to etymologists, by the early 20th century, people were using the phrase especially to refer to rough police interrogations. Not that the Masons were literally torturing anyone, of course, but the cops borrowed the lingo. So, when you hear a detective show character say, "We gave the suspect the third degree," you can thank Freemasonry for that bit of colorful language. It's a neat example of how Masonic culture quietly left a mark on everyday speech. Number 10. Many of history's most famous figures have been Freemasons. One way Freemasonry has kept people fascinated for so long is the sheer star power of its membership. Over the last 3 centuries, an impressive roster of leaders, artists, and innovators have proudly worn the apron, which is the symbolic garment of a Mason. For starters, a large number of U.S. presidents have been Freemasons. George Washington was not only America's first president, but also an active Mason. He even presided over a lodge as a master. In total, by some counts, around 15 presidents were Masons at some point in their lives. This includes greats like Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Harry S. Truman, and Gerald Ford, among others. But the fraternity's famous members aren't just politicians. The ranks of Freemasons span all fields. To name a few, Winston Churchill, the British Prime Minister who led the UK through World War II, was a known Mason. Musical geniuses like Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart were Masons too. In fact, Masonic ideals inspired some of Mozart's compositions. American frontiersman Davy Crockett was a Mason, as were legendary entertainers like Duke Ellington and Nat King Cole. Henry Ford, the automobile pioneer, was in the lodge as well. And even into the space age, Buzz Aldrin, the astronaut who walked on the moon, is a proud Freemason. The list goes on. Voltaire, Mark Twain, Louis Armstrong, John Wayne, members of the craft pop up in every era. Seeing so many notable figures involved underscores that for a long time, Freemasonry was a cornerstone of civil society. Influential men networked in lodges, shared ideas, and often carried those ideals, like liberty, equality, and charity, into their work. So the next time you see a famous name from history, there's a fair chance you didn't know they were a Freemason. Those were 10 things you might not have known about the Freemasons. A brotherhood with a rich history and much less sinister than Hollywood would have you believe, yet full of intriguing secrets and influences. From medieval craft guild to modern charity donors, from secret handshakes to presidential members, the Freemasons have quietly woven their thread through the fabric of history. If you enjoyed learning about this unique fraternity, please give this video a thumbs up. Which fact surprised you the most? Was it the story of the kidnapped whistleblower, or the origin of the third degree, or maybe just the list of famous Masons? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts, or any other cool facts you know. And subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into Masonic mysteries and myths. There are plenty more secrets to explore. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep seeking the truth behind the legend.